Becoming a parent changes everything overnight. New parents often feel overwhelmed by a never-ending to-do list. From feedings to sleep schedules to constantly trying to soothe a fussy baby, the day-in, day-out demands can feel all-encompassing.
There's so much technical stuff to do with the baby. It's a lot of heavy lifting, physical, trying to, first of all, moving the baby around, but trying to figure out how to feed them, how to put them to sleep, how long do they sleep for, how to soothe them. There's just so many new things to learn, as parents know. On top of that, it can be isolating, so parents feel alone in it. They don't see friends and family as much, or they lose contact with friends who don't have babies. They can feel overwhelmed emotionally and then maybe disconnect from each other. There's just so much, and it can just be such a hard first year, but so much has to do with not sleeping too.
That's Vered Benhorin, a psychotherapist, mom of 3, and author of What Do I Do With My Baby All Day? Benhorin knows all too well the stress of being a new parent and the struggle to be present and actually enjoy this period.
What happened with me, I think, because I was kind of an alpha mom, I'm used to getting stuff done, doing a lot in my life. Before the babies came, I always had 5 different projects that I was juggling. And so when the baby came, I thought, okay, I'll just add this to the list. I can do it all. And so I got involved in figuring it out, kind of figuring out how to mom like it's a task that I can achieve, like it's a problem that I could work out. And so I really put my mind to figuring out all those technical things. But what I didn't remember to focus on is the most important stuff, which is the connection.
While it can be difficult, it's important to slow down and try to build a deeper connection with your baby. It's this early connection that can make parenting easier in the long term. Benhorin recommends starting with small steps and encourages people to focus on bubble moments, small intentional periods of connection that build the attachment muscle. These moments don't have to be grand gestures. A simple smile, a shared laugh, or a soothing touch can make a difference.
You're connecting to your baby all the time without even realizing it. You're mirroring their gestures, they're mirroring your vocalizations. It's happening all the time. So parents don't need to worry about whether that's developing. It is. However, we can also be more intentional about it and really go to what I consider like the attachment gym, which would be these bubble moments in order to develop the attachment muscle. And that's when you're learning more about your baby, you're developing your language of play, you're learning about their personality, all through these moments where you're both enjoying them.
But this is often easier said than done. For most adults, playing with a stuffed animal, singing the same nursery tunes, or pressing buttons on the same toys over and over again can feel mind-numbingly boring. Instead of playing Baby Shark on repeat, put on some of your favorite music and dance with the baby in your arms. If you're tired, place them in a lounger and do an exaggerated dance to the music in front of them. Benhorin also recommends trying out this close contact activity with your baby.
I call it the Tickle Monster method. This is a game that you can play with your baby, and it's actually going to develop into play with your toddler too. It's kind of the main game that you need to know how to play with your baby, because it's what you'll be playing for a while. And it really comes down to doing some kind of sound or gesture and then stopping. And parents might already be doing a version of this where they do some sort of sound and gesture and they stop and they do it again and they stop, and their baby gets to know it and loves it and they keep going. But what I want parents to think about, caregivers to think about, is actually the pause in between that sound and gesture that they're making. Because in that pause, their baby is anticipating what's going to happen next. They're anticipating that you're about to do that again, and they get really excited. And it's that pause that's developing that relationship where you're both looking into each other's eyes and you're both having so much fun. The actual sound and gesture, that's nice too, but it's the anticipation together.
And your voice is a key connection, not just during moments, but also during periods of distress.
The voice is really another way to hold your baby. You don't only have your arms, but you have your voice. And so if you learn to use our voice in the right way, then we can soothe our babies when they're in the back seat, or when we're trying to teach them how to sleep in the crib and we want to walk away, when we're giving our toddler a bath and the little baby is in the bouncy seat and crying. So if we use our voice in a way that is relaxed, is resonant, I talk about the soothing method in the book, which it really is based on something called vocal toning, which helps our baby relax by really supporting their vocals. When babies are crying, they're communicating to us that they're not okay and they're using their voice. And so if we use our voice back, it's a way to say, I hear you, I'm with you, I am right here.
For playtime with toys and teethers, it can be difficult, but keep encouraging independent play by setting your child up on a mat with all of their favorite toys within reaching distance. It can be tempting to pull out your phone during these moments, but try to avoid scrolling when you're in close proximity.
It's a hard one. I know it's a hard one because I grapple with that daily, as we all do. But there are studies showing that when your baby sees you on their phone, or like if you're playing with your baby, you're looking at them, you're engaged with them, the second you go onto your phone, your baby disconnects. They notice it. They get it. You can do an experiment where you're lying next to your baby, you're both playing together, you're both looking at something and exploring something together. Just lie there for a while, not doing anything. You don't have to manipulate anything, lead the play. You're just there, and then look at your phone. And you'll notice immediately that your baby gets it. Your baby is so tuned in to when you are present with them and when you're not. And so obviously we can't be present with them all the time. We're not going to be off our phone all the time. But I'm just saying stuff that parents know. It is better to do it when your baby isn't looking. Maybe look at your phone in a different room.
All of these steps can feel limiting as a new parent, but it's normal to feel distant, detached, and grouchy sometimes. The most important part is that you're trying when you can.
If we can say, okay, this is hard. Maybe the dishes aren't done. Maybe the laundry isn't done. Maybe we're doing our best, but can we find 2 different times during our day to have a bubble moment? 2 times at least where I'm feeling joyful with my baby, where I'm connecting in a way that feels good for both of us, and we're both learning about each other. That's going to be the stuff that our relationship is built on.
To find out more about Vered Benhorin and her work, head to viewpointsradio.org. Her book, What Do I Do With My Baby All Day, is available now. For behind-the-scenes content, follow Viewpoints Radio on Instagram, X, and Facebook. The story was written by executive producer Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Gary Price.